Believe it or not, this really happened. In May 1945, the American army joined forces with the German Wehrmacht to fight the Waffen-SS, the combat unit of the Nazi Party's paramilitary Schutzstaffel, SS. Well, sit back and let me take you on that journey back in May 1945. The scene, a medieval fortress in Austria known as Castle Itter. This was not your typical castle. Within its hallowed walls were 14 French prisoners, including former Prime Ministers Édouard Daladier and Paul Reynaud. The castle was under the watch of the SS guards, but as the tide of the war turned, these guards fled, leaving the prisoners in a precarious state of freedom. Now you might think that the prisoners were out of danger with the guards gone, but you'd be wrong. The area was teeming with Waffen-SS units, and the prisoners were still far from safe. Their only hope lay in an unlikely alliance. Enter Major Josef Gangl, a Wehrmacht officer, and a man with a sense of honor. When a Czech cook from the castle sought his help, he did not turn a blind eye to their plight. Instead, he made a decision that would go down in history. Major Gangl reached out to none other than Captain John Jack Lee, an American officer leading a group of GIs. It was an audacious move. After all, the Wehrmacht and the American forces were enemies in the wider conflict. However, faced with a common adversary in the Waffen-SS, these two men set aside their differences and joined forces. And so, a unique team was assembled. 10 American GIs, 14 German soldiers, and a renegade officer of the Waffen-SS came together to defend the castle. Even the French prisoners, realizing the gravity of the situation, took up arms to defend themselves. So, with an unusual team of defenders formed, the stage was set for an unforgettable battle. Imagine being in a medieval castle, surrounded by enemy forces, and your only hope lies in the hands of a ragtag group of soldiers. The Battle of Castle Itter saw an unlikely alliance of American GIs, Wehrmacht soldiers, and even a renegade officer of the Waffen-SS. Together, they defended the castle in a desperate bid to save the lives of 14 French prisoners. The fortress became a battlefield, with the air thick with the smell of gunpowder and the ground shaking from the heavy shells bombarding the castle walls. The Waffen-SS, armed and determined, launched their attacks, but the defenders, against all odds, held them off. They fought bravely, each man aware that a single mistake could cost them not only their lives, but those of the French prisoners they were protecting. The prisoners themselves, including former Prime Ministers Édouard Daladier and Paul Reynaud, were not idle bystanders either. They seized weapons and joined in the fight, their desperation lending them a courage they might not have known they possessed. Their participation was crucial in repelling the Waffen-SS attacks, demonstrating that even in the direst of circumstances, the human spirit can rise to meet the challenge. The battle raged on, the defenders of Castle Itter standing their ground, refusing to give in. The tension was palpable, each passing second a question of survival. Yet, amidst the chaos and fear, there was an undeniable sense of unity. These men, from different backgrounds and allegiances, were fighting side by side, united by a common cause. But as the dust settled on Castle Itter, the question remained: what would happen to these brave defenders? After surviving a hard-fought battle, what awaited our heroes was another kind of struggle. In the aftermath of the battle, the fortress of Castle Itter echoed with the sound of silence, punctuated only by the distant hum of an approaching U.S. rescue squad. The arrival of these additional forces signaled a turning point, a moment of respite after the relentless conflict. The French prisoners, who had shown remarkable bravery in defending themselves, were ushered to safety. Among them were former Prime Ministers Édouard Daladier and Paul Reynaud, both of whom had found themselves, quite unexpectedly, at the heart of a battlefield. Their relief was palpable, a stark contrast to the fear and uncertainty that had plagued them just hours earlier. Meanwhile, the German soldiers who had fought alongside their American counterparts were now taken into captivity. It was a paradoxical situation, to say the least. After having risked their lives to save others, they were now prisoners themselves. Yet, there was an unspoken respect between them and their captors, a bond forged in the crucible of battle. But what of Captain John Jack Lee, the American who had led the defense of Castle Itter? For his exceptional bravery and leadership, Lee was accorded high honors. Yet the glory of the battlefield did not translate into peace and civilian life. Lee faced personal struggles in the years that followed, his life marked by a series of ups and downs. He was a hero in war, but a man grappling with his demons in peace. His story serves as a poignant reminder that the scars of war are not always visible. The Battle of Castle Itter was more than just a conflict. It was a convergence of unlikely alliances, a testament to the power of unity in the face of adversity. The American GIs, the Wehrmacht soldiers, and the French prisoners had come together. Their differences set aside, their shared goal: survival. The Battle of Castle Itter, an incredible story of courage and unlikely alliances, serves as a testament to the unpredictable nature of war. And so, we come to the end of this remarkable tale. But history is full of such fascinating stories, isn't it? The Battle of Castle Itter is but one example of the countless tales that remain, waiting to be told. Tales of bravery, of unlikely alliances, of human spirit triumphing against all odds. I'm sure you have your own thoughts on this story. Perhaps you're amazed at the unlikely collaboration between American GIs and German soldiers, or maybe you're intrigued by the bravery of the French prisoners who took up arms to defend themselves. Whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear them. I'd also love to know what other historical events you're curious about. Is there a specific battle that's caught your interest? Or maybe a historical figure whose life you'd like to learn more about? Your suggestions are not just welcome, they're eagerly anticipated. As we delve deeper into the annals of history, we uncover more and more fascinating stories. Stories that deserve to be told. Stories that you deserve to hear. Thank you for joining me on this historical journey. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and comment down below with the topic you'd like to explore next.